Right, it's time to talk about the good in New World Aeternum. Now, I know some of you are going to be like throwing rotten tomatoes at me or something, but there is actually some good stuff in there. So let's talk about it. Let's sort of break it down as best we can. Effectively, what has happened recently is that there have been some sort of like preview events for the media that was done at Summer Game Fest. And what this basically shows is the restarting of the MSQ in New World Aeternum. Now, what do I mean by that? It's not like they've reworked the entire leveling experience. At least I don't think so. What I assume they have done is reworked maybe the level 1 to maybe like level 10 experience. And then I'm going to guess that maybe some of the quests later on have maybe had the new chat thing, the new sort of quest NPC dialogue thing where it sort of zooms in. I can't imagine they've reworked the whole thing. That would be incredible and probably wasteful. So my guess is that they've reworked the starting and then maybe changed some quests. But the starting area, let's be honest, in every single clip that I see, it is truly beautiful. New World was always a beautiful game, and the reworked starting area is even more beautiful. So to me, the way that I think it's going to work, and I haven't actually seen it sequentially, I know some videos might be out there that have it sequentially, but I haven't seen it, so you're probably going to create your character as normal. Doesn't appear to be any new faces, although I could have sworn they said there would be new faces. There's definitely some new hairstyles though, and you get to pick your preset, your archetype. Your archetype, by the way, is not an actual class. You will still be able to change weapons, etc. And it looks like you'll get a little buff in a trade skill, probably like plus 10 or something, nothing crazy. Once you've done your archetype, it looks like you'll probably do the combat tutorial on this boat. Then I'm assuming you get knocked into the water and then you have to swim back to the shore, and you swim into these ruins and you pick up your stuff, and incredibly beautiful graphics ensue. I'm guessing at the very end of that, that's where Thorpe is, and it's fantastic. It looks great. Very happy with it. I don't really like where the stamina is on the screen, and I don't really like where the mana is on the screen in the new UI, but other than that, the visuals are truly good. And when they get on the shore in Monarch's Bluff, then there is completely redone water. The water is like this color of blue instead of gray. And on the rocks, there's all these corals and stuff like that. It looks good. There's also a cutscene on the beach with this guy. And whilst they've said they've reworked some of the animations and stuff, the eyes are very sort of like dead and hollow and not really looking where they should be looking. Feels very uneasy. But overall, I think the beauty of what they have there is truly incredible. New World's visuals and sound were always some of its good points, and they've just taken it up a level. The lighting, the atmosphere looks sensational. You can see some of the things that they've done with the combat and the running animation. Some people like the new running animation. I don't really like it. In PvE, they've at least got like stagger on the enemies in PvE. So if you hit them, they, go back a little bit. Very intrigued how that will actually feel. There appears to be like new animations with that running, by the way. Like when I tried it on PC with a controller, it was either like full sprint or like a walk. It looks like there's blended animations, but not 100% sure if that's true or it's just, me imagining it. But yeah, starting area looks good. I suspect it's not really beyond level 10, but that tutorial is so much better than it used to be. And the old one I don't think was that bad. And then let's talk about the rest of the content. A 10-person player raid. Now, we've heard this a couple of times. This is where Gear Score 725 stuff's going to be. I'm assuming that there will be like a weekly box and maybe a daily box, but the weekly box will be where the really good stuff is. They've said it's going to have 3 bosses. I'm sort of curious how different this will feel from a 5-person expedition to a 10-person raid. They've also said it will be hard. Again, I know you guys maybe don't agree with me on this sometimes, but if you make it too hard, then people don't do it, like the worm, for example. If you design content for like 1 to 5% of your audience, then the rest of the audience feels a little bit excluded. I'm in favor of sort of like a normal mode, which gets you the stuff most of the time, and then a hard mode where maybe there's a chance of a mount. Maybe it's just 2 boxes instead of 1 in terms of the gear. Something sort of worth it, but not like that bad that if you don't do it, you feel like you're missing out. People are going to be like, Jay, it's just because you're bad. I'm not even that bad at the game. I can do PvE mechanics most of the time. I mean, I do fail sometimes, but most of the time I can do it. So yeah, we'll be interested to see what happens with the 10-man raid. Not much is known. I think we've only seen like 1 or 2 pictures of the bosses. Nothing crazy. For the new PvP zone, we're sort of learning little bits, but nothing crazy. There was sort of like a leaked article on Reddit, and I don't know how true this article was, but they emphasized that there was a problem that we sort of expected would be a problem. That muskets will be a problem, that leaving the island will be a problem once you've got all your resources. Like if you get all the stuff and you try and leave, and then there's 10 muskets all shooting you because there's only a certain amount of exit points. It sounds like the PvP zone could be a massive frustration. Don't know how they're going to stop collusion. In fact, I think I saw Katie tweet, please, no collusion. And I'm like, I'm not sure asking the players not to collude is going to be enough. We'll see though. It's weird to speak about something negatively when you've not played it. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. What's funny is the PvP zone, by the way, will be in the console NDA test, but the 10-person player raid isn't. We are, of course, also going to be getting the repeatable endgame soul trials. We now know that you'll be able to do 3 of those. It sort of seems to me that Gear Score 725 might come from all 3 of these things. The 10-person player raid, the PvP zone, and maybe the soul trials. Because the soul trials, they know you've done the actual content for it and they can set the difficulty. If they just deem them as like super casual content with crap rewards, then people won't do it. So we'll see how they go. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the only way of getting Gear Score 725. They keep mentioning crafting, but is crafting really going to be something that you can just craft 725 like we have done in the past? Hopefully not, because I think that system's crap. Like, I really don't want a situation where we go live in New World Aeternum and my legacy character, if legacy servers aren't dead at this point, can just be Gear Score 725, day 1, no effort. Well, not because of the no effort, but because I've already got all the stuff that I need. Like, if I can just upgrade my gear or something, it would not be very interesting. Gear Score 725 is, I know, a little bit controversial in the community. Some people don't see the point of it. But for me, I think like vertical progression like that sort of makes sense because they've pretty much failed at horizontal progression. And honestly, the gear that you had in Season 3 being relevant literally like a year after, to me just feels weird. I think one of New World's fundamental issues right now is progression, and vertical progression could just be a very simple solution, if not an elegant solution. So Gear Score 725, I'm sort of okay with. Now we are going to be getting matchmaking and cross-world arena now. What is the combination here? Like, what is the matchmaking? Is it going to be by weapons? Is it going to be by skill? Is it just going to be arena? Is it going to be actually ranked arena? Or is it just matchmaking and then ranked arena at a different point? Not really sure. They're not really talking about it right now. There's a lot of things they're not really talking about. We didn't even realize until the Monday video that Cutlass Keys was getting up-leveled. There's going to be new quests, new enemies, and all kinds of stuff. Now, is that a full rework? Probably not. It's probably less than what Elysium Wilds was. And the Elysium Wilds, if I'm honest, was probably less than what Brimstone was. So it sort of feels like a downgrade every time. But, you know, no harm in it. Sounds like a good idea. I think expansion buyers will still be able to go into that zone, but maybe not really benefit from doing so that much. Not sure about that one. And then this sort of goes back to the visuals. There are some improvements with the general performance of the game. DirectX 12, we think there's going to be some kind of upscaling. We're not sure if it's DLSS, which is what they'd mentioned about on their website a couple of times before, or if it's going to be the AMD one, which I think might be called FSR. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a genius. I can't remember. But the world did look better in the footage that we've seen. So maybe these improvements will actually be good. DirectX 12, I don't really know its full impact. In theory, it could be as it is now with no real changes, but if they really utilized it, then it could be a massive improvement. There's no further news what the combat improvements will be. They mentioned the stagger in the PvE enemies, but is that literally everything? Or are we going to be getting improvements to the Slayer script? Not really sure on that one. There's a couple of outstanding questions we actually don't know. We know they're improving the controller support, so you're going to be able to like rebind your keys and stuff like that, but there's no real news on, say, like aim assist. So it sounds like we're going to have fresh start servers where everybody will be able to play, and the legacy servers, console players could come on if they wanted to, but nobody's going to do that. So we're going to have these new servers. Doesn't sound like we're going to have console only servers. So PC players might go on and dominate either in like with muskets, open world PvP, what have you. And then it also sounds like the console players will still be in the same OPRs of everybody. That sounds like a disaster, but okay, let's not dwell too much. Well, actually, no, it might not be a disaster, or it might be disaster if they have aim assist or improved aim assist. So on controller right now, it's not very strong if it even exists. I think it's just the friction thing. So where you move over an enemy, your cursor starts going slower. Aim assist would be, I think they call it rotational aim assist, but again, don't quote me, where it actually follows the enemy. Now, people say it won't be that bad in New World because the projectiles actually take time to get there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Are there going to be any changes there? Again, we have no idea. We're sort of in this weird situation right now where there's a lot of things we don't know and that they're probably going to spread out that information over time. I also suspect that even though the console test is under NDA, I would not be surprised if we see some massive market changes as soon as that goes live, and yet nobody will know why. Well, some people will know why, but if you're not in that test, you won't know why. Although actually saying all that, I think for most people, they're probably going to re-roll on fresh. A lot of people are even wondering if their legacy characters will really survive. Now, obviously they will survive, but if there's nobody on those servers, because let's face it, the game's not exactly super popular on PC at the minute, then is the character even alive? Does it even matter? If your character's there, but nobody's there to play with you, is it relevant? Yes, for OPR. No, if you can't do the new content like the 10-player raid or the Lawless Zones. The Lawless Zone, by the way, don't know if it's going to be sharded, don't know if it's going to be cross-server, don't know what it is. We'll have to wait and see. So much stuff we don't know, and I am vaguely looking forward to it. Now, just to make another comment on this if you don't know, I'm going to sort of casually cover New World for the next 4 months. On Twitch, I'm sort of planning to move away. Eventually, I might end up pivoting this channel to something like Chrono Odyssey or another action combat MMO if New World truly dies. But let's wait and see. Let's just watch it die first. But I am aware of the memes, dead game. I know, I can see the play numbers. I'm not oblivious to it, okay? I just got to do what's best for me financially, basically. For now, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Big shout out to my Patreons. If you want to come and talk to me over on Twitch, is the best play. I just said the best play. What I meant was to say the best place. Have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.